Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, I'm Bruce, aka Haunted Husband, and welcome to Quarter Crowns. Now, if this is your first time or your 100th time on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. By subscribing, you'll be notified when our videos go live daily. I cover a lot of indie games, indie demos, and content like this from indie developers. So if you're into all things indie, you found your home, smash that subscribe button right now. So what is Quarter Crowns? Is a visual novel game inspired by Ace Attorney. You play as a princess, Adelina de Rex, and lead the crown court that resolves important disputes between the nobility. Well, what kind of person is Princess Adelina de Rex? Decide that for yourself, thanks to this game's unique belief system. This is scheduled to be released January of next year. It is developed and published by placeholder name Studios. Any other valuable things I need to tell you about? Of course, it's an adventure, visual novel, female protagonist, 2D type of situation. Music's very epic. I will be upfront and let you know that this is just the demo, of course. In the description below, you go find a link to the Steam page where you can list this for yourself if you're into this type of game. I have no experience with Ace Attorney, so I have no idea what I'm in for, so let's cue the music and get on with it. Hopefully my head's not blocking anything. Usually with these type of visual novel things, there's always stuff all over the screen, so part of that means there's never a good place to put your head. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. It's rhyming, I hate that. My fair Verona. What? From forth the fatal lines of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventure pietas overthrows, do with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not be removed, and now the 2 hours traffic of our stage. Holy hell. The which of you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Yeah, he's talking about Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare. I got that like 20% of the way. 1796 year in the new book, capital of... Look, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce any of that. I will do my best. But my pronunciation to butcher words is very high, and my reading comprehension is very low. Breathe in, breathe out, do the chicken head go let... Oh, that's a different thing. This is Adela. Everything will be fine. It's an important day, very important day. Everything will be fine for sure, for sure. You've been preparing this since you forever, so you're ready. Okay. I don't believe her. Please tell me the bird talks. Besides, Father will watch over everything as always. So what could go wrong? It's not like I'm in the danger of unleashing a civil war that will make Commonwealth collapse, the invaders overrun the palace, and everyone ends up at guillotines making... Breathe in, breathe out. You're prepared. Last night you read... Wait, what did I read? Analysis? Yes, analysis of Commonwealth proceedings. Version of the Erithum of page 187. It only took me 3 hours to find it. You are calm and composed. I repeat, calm and composed. You have nothing to fear. You are calm and composed. Everything will be fine. Good. Look, I'd probably be scared too if my back was to the door and a guy walks in touching his sword. This is Lionel of Richie. I see you're calm and composed. Of course I'm calm and composed. Even despite your tactless disregard of knocking on the door of the private chamber of a noble lady, your majesty. My most sincere apologies, your royal highness, although I must add that the servants told me just an hour ago they had finished tuning you up. But I understand, no matter how you look at it, of all men, only my future son-in-law has the right to see the body of the Almighty he has bestowed upon you. Okay. Father! And you also have the voice that would move mountains, but that's okay. It's essentially that you are heard by everybody in the throne room. Because today, you, princess, are going to uphold the law and order of the Commonwealth. Let's just do it. The two descendants of two noble families died tragically, and both families are now demanding that the crown sway justice to their favor. I trust my successor to make the decision that is most right for the kingdom. Let's do it. Funky Coleman. Sorry, you're not going to get that reference. My name is Adela de Rex. I am the rightful heir to the throne of the Commonwealth of Adela. Okay. Adelandria. According to our constitution, it is the duty of the crown to settle important disputes between noble families. A part of my preparation for the future assumption of the throne, my father, King Lionel de Rex, entrusted me with the settlement of such dispute. He had never done this before. I do not know why he decided to do it now. I have been taught about such hearings since my early age, and observed my father conducting them, still I find it hard not to worry. This week, Roman de Monten and Giona de Capelle died tragically in a guest house at our castle. Families accuse each other of the deaths of their children. Our hateful neighbors are greedily observing our borders. That is why I must help my father prevent bloodshed. Hence, it's up to me to decide who is to blame for this crime, and bear all the political consequences of that decision. What was that? Yeah, I'm still safe up in this corner, I believe. Noble citizens of the Commonwealth, we declare the Assembly of the Royal Court open. Well, there are slightly more viewers in the room than I expected. Oh yeah, they're packed to the rafters in here. Local noble members, the townsfolk standing behind them. Is the crime of that palace so important to them? If out of stress I fall down the stairs, break my back, then I'll be spoon-fed for the rest of my life by servants who will encourage me to eat with the loud yum-yum. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe it's better to have father settle this. Maybe it's not too late to back out. Maybe I'll pretend to faint and... Just calm yourself, okay? Maybe I'll just take a few more deep breaths. We assembled today to hear the case of Lord de Capelle and Lord Monten. The said nobles are granted permission to appear before the throne. Bring him in, bring him in. You assume your duty to help others to the expense of your well-being, or will you take care of yourself and the privilege that will come with it? Do you avoid hardships for freedom and pipe dreams, or do you know what is good for others? Do you fight for survival in the battle royale, or you cast your lot in life for immortal glory? Or maybe you'll just find an answer elsewhere. You can say one thing and do another. The three choices that follow will determine the truth. Only the later choices will influence the story, and beginning it may trigger any end. Any beginning may trigger any end, okay? But you have to start somewhere, don't you? Like, for instance, from learning the rules. Lord Will de Capelle extends his warmest greetings to your majesty and your royal highness. He does the exact same thing. He extends even warmer greetings. I can feel the warmth, man. You both have a hair problem. They haven't even greeted each other yet, and I already burn with lust for murder. Poor me. Nevertheless, it's true that the two families have hated each other for years. Possibly father's authority is the only thing that has still kept them in line, and that means no, stop thinking about it. Focus, focus. Think of history, the account of the Commonwealth families by Lord de Nordo makes reference to the hostility of the Capels Monti. This was all started in the dispute similar to this one, with the hearing eventually inclusive, so he's responsible for the crime. You learned so much from history, haha. What is this? As your king, I bestow the deepest regrets of the recent deaths of the noble John de Capel and the noble Roman. As your princess, I will wish to express my sorrow for such a great tragedy. Haven't had a chance to see them. The families arrived at the assembly, for which I was told to return to my studies during the assembly. However, I was accompanying my father and learning of the way. I was assisting our servants in arranging the event. I met influential and prominent nobles. I was having fun with the young nobles. One or three are probably the proper choices here. I miss the talks with the nobles behind the scenes, but I don't care about such stuff anyways. Chose to come to my father and watch his actions closely. Sadly, I didn't get to meet the Lord's children that day. Yes, that's what I was doing during the nobility assembly, right? That's exactly what you're doing. She's like acquainted with Roman and Juliana anyway. Really, the kind words of His Majesty and Royal Highness do warm our despairing hearts. I agree with Lord Cabell. Only it didn't seem like a custom-driven gesture towards the kingdom. Lords are probably already regretting what the conflict between their families has led to. The crown stands ready to provide with the truth and justice in the events so tragic for both of you. However, we decided it should be Her Royal Highness, Princess Adela de Rex, who is entrusted with the responsibility of leading today's assembly. We, King Lionel de Rex, hereby restrict our position to the advisor to the crown. Everyone in the room knew this would happen, yet the murmur is disbelief. Princess Adela de Rex, we grant you permission to sit on the throne. Man, I just want to get to some deducing here. Yes, Your Majesty, thank you very much for your honor and trust placed in me. Come on. View the throne has some advantages. For example, now I don't have to worry about collapsing out of stress. Still, looking at the lords doesn't help at all. They remain silent but clearly displeased. It's evident they don't want to bow to me. We don't have much to exchange here. I remind them of their dead children. The nobles are in pain. They despise me. They dare to look down on me. They are skeptical about the substitution. I have to prove myself. Title noble blood will not win me a country which expects capable leadership to prove that I am qualified. Well, I didn't get a chance to read that. I, Princess Adela de Rex, declare the crown as ready to hear from the assembled. Are both parties ready to jointly present in substance of their dispute? Both parties are required to communicate the facts and issues upon they agree. So we have to get familiar with the backgrounds of the dispute before I move on to those issues that the parties disagree. Naturally, Your Royal Highness, Lord Amandine and I are ready to present the facts, only the facts concerning this tragedy. Was that a gunshot? What was that? The facts that we are unanimous about. Cause of conflict. Okay. Of course, this is him talking. 3 weeks ago, I stayed with my family in a guest house next to the palace. I arrived for the purpose of the convention of the Assembly of Nobility. Lord de Monton did likewise. And at the earlier point, there was already a feud between our families. It's not like the reason we were ordered you to reduce the numbers of your delegations. There were no casualties, but I don't know what would have happened if not for the quick intervention of the guards. From then, everyone kept their eyes on both families. An unfortunate drunken altercation between in-laws, Your Majesty. Ultimately, that was the reason why we sent everyone away and remained only with our children. That is correct. This assembly was concluded a week ago, and we would have returned to our manners if not for the fact that I and Lord were stopped by urgent matters. Because of that, we extended our stay at the capital. What's up with the random gunshot going off? Indeed, exact 4 nights ago, the tragedy struck at the time we were in the guest house with our servants and no one else. It so happened late at night, I just happened to meet Lord DeCap on the stairs in the hall. They were also a guardsman patrolling the area. Requested a plan of the premise be drawn up for clarity. So dining hall, chapel, entrance, stairs, the crime scene. Gotcha. This is exactly what it all looked like from the ground floor. Shortly after we entered the guest house, the restroom on the upper floor opposite the stairs is crucial for the case. Indeed, it was for that room for the furious shriek of Misty rang out. It was faintly audible, but it sounded as if she was murdered someone in a frenzy. Someone just screamed veto. No, it was not if she was murdered. No, it was as if she were murdered. Veto. That's not for you to decide. But I will turn my back to you and just rub against you. Pardon. We are hereby handing the guest house plan over to the Crown. Is that to our knowledge? Moving on, we ran with the guards upstairs to a locked room. That is correct. We were still there with the guardsmen while the remaining servants were still gathering. We forced the door open, and then we saw it. Our children dying inside. Our children. My daughter Juliana. My poor daughter was lying on the bed, a dagger in her chest. Dagger belonged to nobody else but Roman de Monton. Her fragile life was fading before my eyes. Oh, Juliana. Circumstances of death of Juliana. She died with a dagger stuck in her chest, passed away on the bed, the upstairs room of the guest house in front of her father. Roman was dying too. He was lying on the floor. A foam was coming out of his mouth. Poison. It was poison. Roman had been poisoned. The death was almost evaporating from the cup of wine he had dropped. It was confirmed by the medicine man. Our children died before our eyes. Exactly the same. The conviction of both parties at their instances, the exact same thing happened during their hearing that split their families. The exact same thing. The case was never solved. Did Father overlook this? The fact that this is the same problem? Surely he must have received reports on the investigation progress. He has to know we heard about the crime. At the same time, the news reached the palace within a few minutes. I was at the library at the time, having a dispute with Father about a book I was in the middle of reading. The book that kept me focused so much on as I lost track of time was Defenders of the Woman King Joan, Noble Virtues, Liberty, Equality, Fraternity, Atlas of Ethical Egoism. I mean, I don't know if that really matters, but leader bees are aesthetic, pragmatic, and egalitarian. Good. Oops, clicked too fast. An idiot dared to say even more, willing to poison my son, my Roman. Silence your warm tongue. It was your son who murdered my daughter, piercing her delicate heart with a sharp dagger. Delicate heart? Delicate heart? The black heart of that evil poisoner slain, not a rightful vendetta? Rightfully the brutal murder of a poisoner caught red-handed, who disgraced himself with suicide to escape punishment? Noble gentlemen, I still have my hand on my sword, so you all can watch. My apologies. That time for judgment is yet to come. Indeed it is. The essence of the whole argument is whose child is to blame for this tragedy. Surely not my poor Juliana. She wouldn't hurt a fly. I knew Miss Capella, an unusual, delicate young woman, charming lady. Anyone who knew Roman would tell you that he was a likable, charming, sensitive young man. I concur. To suspect of this, it's just not the lords who are biased in this room. Nobles love making their opinions known wide. Members of this class are convinced that they know everything. Divisions, conflictions, and crime slowly weaken the Commonwealth. I need to put a stop to this as soon as possible. It's for the best for everyone. Let me once again express my deepest condolences. It's an immense tragedy when the parents have to bury their own child. Crown thanks the Lord for bringing the substance of the dispute. Father, I don't understand when everyone is so sanctimoniously convinced that they are right, how can it even be resolved? You're preparing yourself to make responsible and difficult decisions, aren't you? In conclusion, the two lords met an hour before midnight in the hall of the stairs. The guards at the entrance confirmed it. Before the proceedings further, Prince Del Rex should take a closer look at the circumstances of the tragedy. Knowing that noble lords now intend to call a captain of the guard as a witness, has they not? Actually, no, we both agree that guardsman Eric Smithy is the best qualified to explain the matter. That's correct. Smithy's competence was also confirmed by the captain of the guard. For the most, Eric Smith was the last person to see our children before the tragedy, safe and sound, that is. If that is your will, so be it. Let guardsman Eric Smith stand before the throne. Man, this guy's sweating bullets. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Courts of Crowns. I was not expecting it to go this long. But, I mean, it's a visual novel, so you have to get in that mindset of where you have to read. It is enjoyable. I am perplexed and inquisitive how this goes, like what other type of mechanics and other things you have to do to get to a decision. But right now we're 21 minutes into the video, and I feel like there's probably like another 30, maybe even 40 minutes before we actually get to the conclusion of just this one thing. So once again, in the description below, you'll find a link to the Steam page to where you can download the demo for yourself and finish it. Pass your own judgment, and make sure you wishlist it. The game will be out January of next year. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe as always. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. Plus, if you like it, YouTube shows it to more people, and then more people, which is how the algorithm works. I'll be back at it again tomorrow with more indie games, indie demos, and great content like this from indie developers. And until then, my Commonwealth, I'll haunt you later. Ooh.